Hello, everyone. Right now, we have with us Deeksha Gupta, part of the Voice of the Young series. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Deeksha.
Good evening, sir. And first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity for making me part of this series. I'm honored. Uh, for my introduction, myself Deeksha Gupta. I'm from Raipur, Chhattisgarh. I was born in a small city of UP, Mainpuri, and my childhood was in Odisha till class 4th. In 2004, my dad took transfer to Chhattisgarh, Raipur, and since then we are here. I did my schooling in Raipur till 12th, and for 11th and 12th, I chose PCM. After 12th, I did my graduation in engineering, civil branch from OPGIT Raigad. As soon as I finished my graduation, I went for the preparation of civil services to Delhi. 10 days immediately after leaving the hostel. I was very determined. Okay, this is what I have to do. So I never sat in the placement drive of my engineering time. So I was very clear that I have to pursue civil services. But did knew that time that it would take 6 years and then I have to change my track. And in 2023, I joined Masters Public Policy in Jindal.
Okay.
So, because of civil services, I got changed from engineer to the science, from engineer to the arts field as a public policy student.
So, when did you finish your engineering? I missed that.
From 2013 to 2017 batch.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then you were not employed, but you were trying to get into UPSC. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is such a waste of people's talents and energy that we have such a fascination with something that young people spend so much time. Anyway, I think you have made the right decision now. So let's talk about this.
So initially, I didn't knew about public policy because my field was completely different as of now. I was from science background and never heard of public policy. But when I couldn't clear my prelims in third attempt, I contacted one of my professors from the Jindal University. My engineering was also from OP Jindal Institute of Technology. So I contacted one of my professor and he guided me for public policy, but I was not ready to give up on civil services at that time. So I gave 3 more years. Uh, I, I wrote mains in 2022. So my hopes were again high. Okay, I could do it. But then eventually in 2023, I joined masters. And because of civil services, uh, this examination gives a opportunity of getting knowledge of wide variety. Like you study all kinds of subjects. So I learned that my inclination is towards policy making or policy implementation and how policies are done on ground. So I chose this. This was the most relatable professional degree which I could get to achieve my ambitions.
Okay, and how's the course for you?
Uh, I would be honest, when I took admission, because I could not clear my 2023 prelims, I thought of preparing for the examination along with masters. But as soon as I came to Jindal, I understood that it's very rigorous, which a course should be. And in Jindal, they give you wide variety of courses, and civil services helped me a lot to get through the masters. It made me learn that my acquired knowledge through those preparation time was very much helping me in masters. So the course was it's very dynamic and they give ample opportunities to find your own domain, your interest areas throughout the journey. So currently I'm in my last semester. So I took different kinds of electives, which we are given in our second and third semester. and Jindal expects you to work. You cannot sit back and relax and be a student. It's not only for fun. It makes you work, and it gives ample opportunity to learn also. It conducts seminars every day, some of the other seminars that you have ample opportunities to connect to people, to learn many things.
Okay, so overall, it's been a plus for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, with this field of public policy has emerged in India and it's increasing quite a bit. There are many places opening. So, what is your advice to young people to do this kind of a course? In what situation? What do you think? I mean, you've met many of your fellow students and all. I'm sure you talk about these things. So, what's your thinking?
I would definitely recommend people to do this if they really want to make an impact. Like if your ambition is to make an impact in the society, so it cannot be only done if you are a civil servant or a politician or a teacher. It could be done through these courses. You have to work on ground. So this is the course which will really give you a technical knowledge of the field plus an exposure to work on the field also. And it makes you think from the stakeholders' perspective that there cannot be only one or two stakeholders in any policy or in for any change. There are 360, you have to see 360 degree, get all the dimensions. You have to think about all the stakeholders. So these kind of perspectives are uh, given by the course through different subjects which we go through.
Okay, I think you just said that it gives you exposure to the field. So, what kind of exposure did you get?
Uh, for It also depends on the kind of subjects we choose. Like I said about the electives, so Jindal offers almost more than 500 electives to choose from, and it can be interdisciplinary. So it also depends. It mainly depends on your courses. I chose software courses, but during my internship time, uh, in Jindal, it's compulsory after each semester you have to go through an internship. So in my first internship, I chose a immersion program. So we went to the village visits, we went to the field trips, and those field trips are very, very necessary to get the practical knowledge because
Hmm.
theory is very different and it's not exactly the same in the ground. And you get to interact with the stakeholders, which is the people for whom the policy is being made. So it's very, very necessary you get their perspective and you solve their problem instead of you cannot make a very, very successful policy sitting in your room and not knowing what exactly the things are in the ground. So
Okay.
those kind of exposure is given by Jindal.
So, just talk about your own learnings from this field visit.
So when we went in the field visit, we went to a nearby village in Haryana, and there I could see the how they are living and what are their challenges in a way that there was some ladies, women who were making uh, who were doing very small businesses. They were selling jaggery, they were selling small uh, food, eatables. And when we visited, uh, they brought their handicrafts and they bought their food items they prepared in their home, and they asked us, "Ki, could you please buy this?" So I understood that if we could give them a platform, if we could conduct or some shivers or some kind of what I would say a program where their things could be displayed, it would empower them. I also observed that their education was not they were not very much focused on education because the teachers were not there in the school, so their children were not interested in going to school. When we talked to them, ki, why you are here and not playing around and not don't you go to school, they were like, we don't have teachers in the school, why will we go there? So these are the things which we need to take seriously while thinking. for any policy change.
The teacher absenteeism is well recorded in most research. So why do you have to necessarily go to the ground to see it? It's written in hundreds of places that India is infested by teacher absenteeism in rural schools. So I don't find that that you need the ground reality is different from the theory. The theory says, the data says that there is teacher absenteeism in schools. So how did you find this different from what is taught?
But yes, sir, it's not different. But when you read something and when you really see it happening, it has a different impact on you
Okay.
because we know all the problems. But when you face it, when you really see the things, then you realize that it's not good to be ignored. Like
Okay.
that, only writing papers is not enough.
No, it's definitely not enough.
Yeah.
That is surely the case. The writing papers is definitely not enough. You need some action. But that action is hard to come. Anyway, it's good that you went and you saw the reality. But are the people now really poor or they are just poor? How do you assess it from your viewpoint?
Uh, so, in my opinion, the real poverty is still there, but things are not reaching to them. Some people they can elevate themselves, but due to government schemes or the benefits which they get, they want to remain poor or they don't want to elevate themselves because then the schemes would not favor them or they will be opted out from the scheme.
Hmm.
So poverty is still there, and we have to think it from the stakeholders perspective, and also that any scheme, if it is benefiting the person a lot, then it would have repercussions because then it would make encourage them to be poor. So the scheme should not be very much favorable to them. It should
Hmm.
be balanced.
So what you're saying is that there's a perverse reaction to schemes to provide financial support. Because you get financial support only if you're poor, and you want the financial support so you remain poor. Some people, or all, or is it pervasive, or you think it's just few? How do you see it?
So it's few, I guess, because to understand these things, a continuous monitoring and evaluation is necessary of the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
The monitoring and evaluation process cannot happen only at the end or
Mm-hmm.
to see uh, things after some years or some targeted years. It is a continuous process.
Mm-hmm.
So through those, we can really track is the scheme is really implemented or it is achieving its goal or not, or
Mm-hmm.
is the data correctly recorded
Mm-hmm.
or the things are happening
Okay.
matlab, at the right direction.
Okay. But that's costly, monitoring and evaluation all the time. That's pretty costly,
It's I don't think so, sir, because if the if the funds are allotted to the scheme, we know okay, much of the funds go waste in personal greeds or it get wasted in many forms in our policy domain. If we could use it, I would think that instead of getting it wasted, it has a much larger impact which will benefit us
Okay.
in the longer term.
Okay, great. But turning to yourself, since you're almost at the end of your education, uh, what thoughts do you have for your future?
Uh, I'm interested in the organizations which are related to the which are working in the gender domain or environment domain. I realized it in my master's that I'm interested in working in the gender domain and the type of organizations which I'm interested in. It is related to the government or it should be government aided or they are working with the government because I think it has a larger impact. And I could also see how the policy is being made or what goes behind those policies, the working of the government.
Okay. Well, both of these are rather broad areas. Do you have any specific issues that you are focused on, or at the moment you are just exploring options?
Uh, it's it's both. It's not. I'm not focused particularly on any issue. Because of the preparation of civil services, I have been exposed to all the dimensions. So I'm inclined towards governance, whether it's education or health or environment. I'm interested more in the governance part of it and how it's made. So
Okay.
it could be any domain which would work for me. But
Okay.
more inclination is towards environment and gender for me
Okay.
as of now.
Okay. And are there such opportunities you think in India?
Yes, sir. The internship which I did last internship, so I did it in RIS, and currently also I'm doing my capstone project in RIS, which is the think tank of Ministry of External Affairs. So institutions like these have a larger exposure of how the think tank works, how government picks up from them, because
Mhm.
they are the institutes which are really researching for the people sitting in the positions.
Okay.
So, yes. So I'm seeing the working of how these organizations work, and I'm interested in these
So
organizations.
basically, it seems to me what you're saying is that you want to work on the think tank side of policy and governance. Is that correct in my understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because eventually I want to work for the government. So this is currently I'm thinking of this. I should
Yeah,
work with the think
that's what
tanks.
I'm asking.
Yes.
That's okay. Well, you have told us a lot about your professional side, UPSC, engineering, public policy. If you want, you can share some personal side too.
Yeah, sure, sir. Uh, for my personal side, I was very much interested in dance and paintings. And for the sport, I was very much interested in basketball and badminton.
Wow.
I, yeah,
Yeah,
uh, during my engineering, I played till zone level for badminton.
yeah,
I represented my college.
yeah.
And but I realized as we grow, it's very difficult to take out time for these things because of time constraints. And if you live in big cities, much of your time goes into traveling every day. You cannot give
But
yourself much
this
time.
Jindal engineering was in Delhi or in Sonipat?
So it's in Raigad,
Or
in
Jindal
Chhattisgarh.
engineering is in Raigad. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But that
In Chhattisgarh.
yeah, I know, but there's not much travel time there, or is it still travel time there?
There I pursued, sir. There, while my engineering, I pursued badminton. I
Okay.
played,
Yeah,
and I went till zone level. But after
yeah,
that, when I came to Delhi for the preparation, and
yeah.
so I lost
Okay.
the track of playing and all.
So how was the
But yeah,
transition for you from Raipur to Delhi?
it was uh, it was kind of a cultural shock, if I have to say it in two words, because a person, a student of a 22 years, 21 year, coming from Raipur to Jindal, matlab Raipur to Delhi, and seeing faculties, seeing the crowd, that was huge for me. I had so much low confidence in me that I would not ask questions in the class of 300, 400 people because I thought my English is not so good, or I had the complex that I'm not for a very good university, that I should be speaking over here. So the problem which persists of in the students, those who come from low or tier two or tier one cities, they have this problem of low confidence.
Hmm,
So I took my own time. I focused on my studies. I didn't interacted much with people
hmm,
because of this issues also.
hmm.
So it was really difficult. But I was also amazed to see that so much exposure, so much education facility is available in big cities that if I would have got at my place, things would have been different, at
Yeah.
least. So when I used to see people wasting their time on the streets of Rajendra Nagar, I used to feel bad in a way that just don't do it. It's waste of resources. You should not
Hmm.
do that. It might change somebody's life with the things which you have and people don't.
Hmm.
So those things affected me, but eventually it's all good. I learned how to live, how to survive, and it was a very good journey for me.
Yeah, but now in Sonipat, you are really living in the campus, no? There's not much happening in Sonipat, or is there something happening?
Uh, I would say that Sonipat, what's happening in Sonipat, we don't know. But in our campus, it caters to a different class of people, I would say.
Yeah,
So this world is also very, very different.
yeah,
In my engineering, that was also Jindal. Uh, the chancellor is the same.
yeah.
So that Jindal is very much different from the Jindal in Sonipat. It's a black and white story for me, and I have lived both the worlds,
Yeah,
and both are the extreme world, and I'm somewhere in the middle.
okay.
So the Jindal in Sonipat is very overwhelming. I feel it's a kind of illusion which you live in, but you need to find your own way of uh, telling yourself that you are enough, you are fine. Don't get overwhelmed by the place.
What is it that overwhelms? I'm keen to hear.
Uh, the living style of students, I would say,
Hmm,
the way they live, the way they uh, spend their time on the activities,
hmm,
it overwhelms you.
hmm.
Uh, because it's a very expensive college to be there, and everybody cannot afford to study there. So that would make us feel overwhelming. The
Okay.
lifestyle of students there.
Hmm. So they can pay the tuition and still have tons of money to spend on themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay.
Somebody's pocket money, somebody's per day spending. It's like
Okay.
that.
All right. Okay. Understood. Okay. But are you enjoying it?
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
don't. I enjoyed a lot
Okay.
because after a long academic break, I enjoyed my college life. I gave myself the liberty of enjoying things again. It's
Uh-huh.
not too late
Uh-huh.
to have fun also,
Yeah.
and it was good. It
Okay.
takes care of your mental well-being also. Lots of, as I mentioned earlier, lots of events and seminars happens in the college, which
Yeah.
keeps you entertained.
Hmm. Okay. Anything else you want to add here? Any tips for young people?
Uh, Throughout my journey, if I have to say something, I learned that we need to take 24 hours a day at a time. We should not think beyond what would happen after 1 year or where I should be, or this should be my path, this should be my plan. You should have a outline, but you should not very much expect from those outcomes because life doesn't really happen the way you want. So you should have that liberty. And consistency matters a lot, I believe. The small steps which you take every day accumulates and it gives you big results. It's not something big you need to do to get something big. So those would be the two things if I have to say to the people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's your
Yeah.
turn. This is to give you the chance to say what's on your mind. There are no restrictions here. You are go ahead and say what happened to dance? Did you gave it up some years ago or
Uh, I gave it up on dance, I would say after 10th
okay?
because the burden of studies. increase exponentially at that time.
Hmm.
And because my home was very far away from the city,
Okay.
so I had to go coaching, and it would take a lot of time for me. And that time I used to go via bus. So I could not take out time for my dance
Hmm. Okay. And
practices.
what dance was it?
So it was freestyle.
Freestyle.
I used to, yeah, and in school we used to learn all kinds of dances a little bit, many folk dances
Uh,
uh, of our Indian culture. I
hmm.
learned a little bit of
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
But while my preparation of the examination, 2 years I came back. I stayed in home because of health issues. At that time, I explored the uh, hobby of acrylic painting.
Hmm.
I started making it on my own, and it helped me a lot, I would say, to get engaged. It gives me it gives me time to think about my own self.
Okay.
So, uh, my interest in painting is very, very recent, I would say. But again, when I joined masters, it got uh,
There's no
it's
time.
in the backseat.
Yeah, there is no time. Okay.
Yeah, because the
Anything else
course
you
is very
want?
rigorous.
Anything else you want to add here, Deeksha?
So I would say that we should not the young students should speak to it somebody in their life. They should not restrict their thoughts to themselves because it's very, very burdening, the life we are going through because of the competition, because of the people or the society we live in. There is an unsaid pressure from everywhere, which we need to understand, and you need to speak to somebody to get yourself a direction and a hope in life.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. You have told us a pretty remarkable journey in a way, but seems like you found your path finally. And you're happy with the path you are on. And congratulations. It must have been horrible to spend those, looking back, 6 years in an attempt that didn't work. And finally, it has worked for you. So I'm happy to hear that. And let's end it here today. I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Till then, bye everybody. Don't go away. I want to talk to you.